Hi guys, so here is day 4 of our writing challenge. So I'm going to go through all of the slides that we've had so far this week, just to recap. So you'll see this image quite a few times, and then I'll make sure that this image is the last one that you see so that you can use it as your focus. But if there's any of the other parts of the presentation that you want to go back to, you can always do that by kind of searching through the video. Okay, so just to recap on what we've done already, I shared with you what we're aiming for. So it's to write 5 sentences, which you should have done yesterday. That the sentences have capital letters and full stops, or perhaps some other punctuation. That you've used expanded noun phrases, so that's something that you had worked on Tuesday, and then hopefully you were able to put those into your sentences yesterday. Your sentences are going to start in different ways. That's something that we're going to be working on tomorrow. That's not our focus for today. And that your writing makes sense. So hopefully you made sure that those simple short sentences that you wrote yesterday made sense. Let's skip through a little bit because these are the tasks that we have already done. Again, if you weren't able to do any of these tasks, you perhaps didn't have time, or you're on a bit of a catch up, you can just find these videos on the previous days planning. Okay, so this is where I've got to today. So at the top, I'll just use my pointer to show you. At the top here, this is the simple sentences that I chose yesterday. And you will have seen me yesterday highlighting where the expanded noun phrases were, and also the fact that I had capital letters at the beginning of each sentence and that I'd used punctuation. I also read through them to make sure that they made sense. So there was quite a few skills involved yesterday, and you should have 5 short, simple sentences that describe that picture. What we're going to work on today is making those sentences a little bit more interesting by expanding them a bit, making them longer and more interesting. So we're going to explain a little bit more about what each sentence means. So the way you could do this is you don't need to start writing those sentences out again. That's unnecessary. You could have your sentences from yesterday in front of you, and you can just make notes around them. This is still the planning stage. So it might be that the sentences you wrote yesterday, you cross some bits out, or you add some bits onto the end. All I have done with mine, and I'll show you this in more detail in a minute, is I have added bits to the end of my simple sentences. That is it. So the sentences all start in exactly the same way as I did yesterday. I've just added on some bits on the end. Okay, so I have written my sentences out again just because it's easier to show you on the screen, but I'm not expecting you to rewrite what you've already written yesterday, just needing to add to it today. Okay, so let's start with the first sentence here. The stomping stone giants are walking forward. Okay, so I wanted to explain a little bit more about that. So I had a look at the picture and I saw that actually the earth, the bushes, the grass, the trees were being destroyed as the giants were walking forward. So I thought I could add that to this sentence to explain what actually does that mean? What can I see happening as the stomping stone giants are walking forward? Okay, so this is what I did. The stomping stone giants are walking forwards, destroying everything in their path. And that's my first sentence. I like it because it makes sense. It's still got that correct punctuation that I was looking for, and I've just added, and I'll highlight it for you here, I've just added this detail, destroying everything in their path. And actually when I reread the sentence, I could see that I needed not forward, but forwards. So that is where the rereading becomes really important, because you need to reread to make sure that it makes sense. Okay, so the stomping stone giants are walking forwards, destroying everything in their path. Okay, I'm now happy with that. as a beginning sentence because I feel like it adds a little bit more information. Okay, let's see how I did it with the second one. There are mysterious floating ships in the sky that are looming closer and closer. So again, here is the part that I have added today. I've moved my full stop to the end and I've added that are looming closer and closer. I like the word looming. I used it when we did the story of Erin and the Secret of Black Rock. It means that something is getting gradually closer, and that's quite a scary thing is coming gradually closer. So looming seems like a good word to use there. Okay, so I hope you can see how I've just added something onto the end there just to make it a bit more interesting. The brave, fearless knight is watching them, clutching his spear tightly. So here I've included a little bit more information, and that was easy to do because I just looked at the picture again and thought, what else could I tell people about this knight? What else is he doing? He's clutching his spear tightly. It could be that you've added on there that he is holding the reins tightly, holding the reins of his horse tightly, something like that. It's just giving our reader, the person who's going to read your writing, more information and a better picture in their mind of what is happening in the picture. A better description. Okay. So this next one, the ground is shaking. Now that was a really short sentence that I wrote. I really liked that one, but I wanted to explain why the ground was shaking. What was it about this picture? What was it that was happening that was making the ground shake? I didn't think that I'd explained that very well. So the ground is shaking because of the giant's shuddering footsteps. Now, I could have just put because of the giants. The ground is shaking because of the giants. That would have worked really well. But to explain a little bit more about what the giants were doing, those footsteps were colossal, they were huge. I thought about using the word huge, but actually shuddering made me think of the ground shaking. Okay. Last one, the birds are flying away from the giants, and I've just added in terror because they're frightened. Okay, so I hope you can see there, that's just some really simple ways. I have just chosen to add bits on the end of my sentences. You might want to move bits into the middle of your sentence. You might want to add more description on one of the nouns, one of the things in your sentence. But I think as a starting point, this is a good way to expand and make your sentences a little bit more interesting. Okay, so if you want to come back and find this part of the video again, that's quite easy to do, and then just pause on here, and then you've got that example of how I've extended my sentences. Okay, so hope you get on okay with that. I'd really love to see those. And those of you that I've spoken to will speak to on Teams today, we can share some of those together. Okay, the last picture I'll show you will be the picture to jog your memory, but as I say, you might want to come back to this one so that you can see the examples that I've given you. Okay guys, so here's the picture, but again, go back and have a look at my examples if that's helpful. Okay, good luck.